Trump
really interesting.
is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away.
But if two guys who've been at each other for so long, I mean, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credentials. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train to crazy town.
It didn't stop there. Bill Maher went after multiple high-profile Democrats in one sweep, including Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and Joe Biden. The tone was intense, layered with criticism and sharp commentary, setting up a broader discussion about leadership, direction, and the current political climate.
They're like an animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear, or I smell alpha, and they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kane. These are not alphas. It's like this thing of like, let's get a woman and then a docile man who's in every commercial where he's the asshole while mom takes care of business. You know, that's not a message that makes the tribe go, who is strong? Who's strong? Who's strong? Tim Walz. No. Og, give me rock. I need to kill myself because Tim Walz. You know, that you gotta appeal to people at a sort of post-civilization stage where we're kind of at on a primal level. You just do.
The argument framed a contrast between leadership styles, bringing in Donald Trump as a central figure. The narrative suggested that while no political leader is without flaws, Trump's appeal lies in projecting confidence and directness. At the same time, it criticized other figures like Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and Gavin Newsom as lacking clarity or strength, portraying them as overly managed or disconnected from decisive leadership.
Trump does it better than anybody.
Trump does, and he started with a rejection principle. What took him from being a joke to being a messenger was two things. One that was really missed in the media, and I was just fortunate to be covering the rallies, so I saw it sooner. We forgot how powerful celebrity is in the American psyche, and that Trump being a TV star, see, I never saw him as a TV star because I've just known him my whole life.
Not just a TV star, but one who played a boss.
Yes, and that apprentice is really everybody wanted to be him. Now, maybe not certain aspects of his personality, but the money, the power, the agency. So they missed that. But when he really turned was, I know who you hate and I know what you hate because they all come to me and I hate them too and I will make them pay. Yeah. The idea that Trump was ever selling himself as a cure is bullshit. He was selling himself as a virus.
The discussion then shifted toward cultural and social tensions, describing a growing frustration among segments of the public. Issues like free speech, social values, and public discourse were highlighted as areas where many feel constrained or unheard. Within this framing, Donald Trump was presented as someone who openly addresses these concerns, positioning himself as a voice for those who feel sidelined.
I really understand their hate. A lot of what they hate, I hate too.
Yeah, I get it.
But I just won't go, but I also have a rational mind.
Yes.
So I don't go all the way to then this is, because it is worse to me.
Right.
What, you know, if you don't really believe in the secession of power, if you don't really believe in the emergency of climate change, I can't get on board with you. But yeah, the political instincts, just the connection with people. I mean, people are always saying, I'm saying, it's my editorial this Friday about Republicans being North Korean with their leader, but why? The reason why that they're so afraid of him is that they know he has a connection. If you're a congressman, a senator, he has a connection with my voters that I do not have.
Nope. He will beat you.
I do not have that connection.
He will primary you, and more often than not, you will lose.
You know,
and that's if all you're about is keeping power. That's all you need to be kept in check.
A key point emphasized was Trump's connection with voters. Unlike traditional political messaging, the narrative argued that his communication style resonates directly with people's everyday struggles and concerns. According to this perspective, while critics may challenge his approach, supporters see it as authentic and responsive rather than distant or scripted.
Really interesting.
Is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. And that kind of shit, nobody else does it. You know, there's a couple of times when, look, I've been his biggest critic for good reason. And when he got reelected, I said, I'm not going to pre-hate anything. And then the first week I said, well, there's lots of things I hate because I do. Okay, there's some things I don't hate also, but the way he can do that and sometimes kind of make me go, oh man, I gotta give it up.
The text described Donald Trump as a major political force, suggesting that his influence extends beyond typical party lines. His electoral success was framed as a reflection of strong voter alignment and messaging, with the claim that his campaigns tapped into broader dissatisfaction and created a lasting political movement.
I mad at the Democrats when they lost because I said, my two big issues are democracy and the environment, and now I don't have a champion for either. So you lost, and that's what you gave me. So don't be mad at me for calling you losers, loser assholes who fucked this election up.
Attention then returned to the Democratic Party, with criticism directed at its leadership and policy direction. Figures like Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom were portrayed as struggling to meet expectations, while broader dynamics were described as contributing to voter dissatisfaction. The narrative argued that internal decisions and policy approaches have played a role in weakening public trust.
The whole thing is about this state is just so fucked with overtaxes and overregulation. Sure. I mean, I last time he was on, I was, kidding him about the fact that I took 3 years to get my solar power turned on. Now I just had my roof redone because of the fires, because now I want a fireproof roof. 2 inspections, and you have to pay for those inspections, They're not free. And I asked this on the show last week. I see it got picked up by a lot of people. Why do I have to have inspectors looking at my roof? It's my roof. If it falls on my head, that's my problem. I don't need the government looking over my shoulder here. And this is why we can't get anything done in this state. The government is just too in our fucking business. And he was on last January, and I asked him about this and the red tape, and he had a big answer about, well, we're blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm going to find out what the exact blah, 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 blah was and see now that it's a year and 3 months later, what's been done.
Interestingly, Bill Maher himself was highlighted as shifting in tone. Known for his long-standing alignment with liberal viewpoints, his willingness to publicly criticize figures like Gavin Newsom was framed as significant. This shift was described as part of a wider trend where even traditionally supportive voices are beginning to question party direction.
Let me ask you this, last question. You're going to meet with the president.
I am?
So Kid Rock makes it happen. What do you think has been the response so far? What do you think it will be, and why are you doing it? Which I'm totally for, by the way, and I love it.
I get it. Well, I'm doing it because, first of all, it was presented as
a dare.
not a dare. No, just maybe this is a beginning to heal America. No, I don't have some sort of complex where I think I can heal America. I can't. Okay, let's get that clear. I'm not going to be healing America. But if 2 guys who've been at each other for so long, it's kind of a Nixon to China thing. I have the credential. There was nobody who was harder on Trump or more prescient about the fact that he wasn't going to leave office voluntarily than I was. I feel like I have the credentials. But they also respect me because I'm honest about the woke train
The conversation also touched on Maher's position as an independent-minded commentator. While he has frequently criticized Donald Trump, he was described as one of the few figures willing to challenge both sides. His invitation to the White House, reportedly extended during Trump's leadership, was portrayed as a notable moment, emphasizing a level of mutual recognition despite political differences.
Also lost a lot of fans for that. The woke people have left the building, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice. But it does give you a certain credibility. So I just think to meet somebody, first of all, it's an honor to be invited to the White House.
Yes, it is.
And I've already had a couple of people who I said to them, you know, I'm just going to take it as a backhanded compliment that you glide right past the idea that little Bill Maher from Rivervale, New Jersey, just a humble kid from the suburbs, was invited for a private dinner to the White House. You glide right past that to how dare you talk to him, and that you're not impressed by it at all. I'm impressed by it a lot.
Another major theme was Maher's perceived honesty, especially when discussing figures like Joe Biden. The text highlighted his willingness to address concerns about leadership capacity openly, even when such views were unpopular within his own political circles. This approach was framed as a key reason why he resonates with a broader audience.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied. Biden is toast. The walls will keep crumbling, and my pick in the office pool for when he gives it up is August 9th, the 50th anniversary of when Nixon did.
The narrative continued by examining public reactions to political messaging, particularly around accountability and consistency. It suggested that shifting narratives around leadership, especially concerning Joe Biden, have led to accusations of hypocrisy, with critics arguing that concerns once dismissed are now being acknowledged.
He's super old, and there's nothing wrong with being old. There's no shame to it. I'm old, but there are, but there's natural processes that happen, and it seems like he is certainly losing his acuity, which a lot of older men do, and compensating it with this wonderful ability to get people to work together. But I would say, I don't think we need to get a panel of gerontologists to look at the situation. We've all known old people who are like, yeah, we'll take the keys now.
I'm so disappointed that you, like me, not so young, would say this. It's such bullshit. First of all, the same week that he did this, Kamala Harris was over in Korea saying our longtime ally North.
Oh, so now
Age and leadership were also discussed, comparing Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The focus wasn't just on age itself, but on how leadership effectiveness is perceived. Questions were raised about decision-making, transparency, and who holds influence behind the scenes in government operations.
I mean, and then he gets his ass on a plane. It can't be easy. He's not, what? He's not a young man. He remembers when the Dead Sea was alive. He told the Wailing Wall to keep it down. No, he's not a young man.
The spotlight then returned to Kamala Harris, with criticism centered on her communication style, debate performances, and campaign challenges. The narrative argued that her public image has struggled to align with expectations of strong leadership, raising doubts among critics about her future political prospects.
Should Kamala Harris run for California governor in 2026 after polls show her leading? I'm going to give that a big no.
She's had her chance several times.
She should run far, far away.
I think Kamala Harris would make a great president of a university.
In conclusion, the overall message emphasized a growing divide between political messaging and public expectations. It argued that voters are increasingly looking for clarity, practicality, and results rather than rhetoric. Across all figures mentioned, Bill Maher, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, and Tim Walz, the central theme remained the same. Leadership is being judged not just by ideology, but by perceived authenticity, effectiveness, and connection with the public.
Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no fingers.